Well, thank you so much, all of you, for having this event tonight. Thank you to Shiawassee County Farm Bureau. Thank you to the Michigan Farm Bureau. As a member of Farm Bureau for about half my life now, I know what you folks go through each and every day when you're out working in the fields, out feeding your livestock, to help put food on all of our tables. First, I need to introduce my wife, the one running around in a Joe Hume t-shirt. Wave your hand, Marcia. My wife is now a farmer. We're fairly newlyweds still, about a year and a half, coming on 2 years. And I grew up on my family's farm. When I was just a boy, my folks bought the old Sheridan farm. Sorry, Ben, that's the competition, the Sheridan Auctioneers. My folks bought the old Sheridan farm, and we still raise livestock, beef cattle, Herefords, Scottish Highlands, as well as exotic animals on my family's farm today. To tell you the rest of my history, I served 6 years in the State House, 4 of those 6 years serving on the House Agriculture Committee, as well as sitting and involved in the House Agriculture Caucus. Passed numerous pieces, a couple pieces of legislation specifically dealing with agricultural issues, making certain that more farms across the state qualified for the Ag Property Tax exemption under the Real Property Tax Act. So essentially cutting taxes, property taxes for many Michigan farmers. As far as what I see state government should be involved with as we go forward, I think we have 3 things that need to be addressed. One is government spending. We have a federal debt projection of $40 to $50 trillion in 10 years, folks. And nearly the same amount projected for combined local, municipal, and state debt in 10 years. $100 trillion, folks. When is enough enough? We also need to have a much healthier tax structure. We have a Michigan business tax that is doing nothing but chasing jobs and chasing folks further and further out of the state. And then thirdly, we absolutely need to get government out of the way. Get government out of the way so that you, as agriculture producers, can do what you do best, and that's providing the food and the fiber for the folks of our community. So thank you again. Check out joehume.com. I'm sure we'll have a few more questions. But we're also pleased to announce we've got support from the Michigan Chamber of Commerce today of our candidacy.
10 seconds.
And look forward to hopefully having the support and the official designation as a friend of Michigan agriculture. Thank you. It seems to me that the best term limit is an educated voter. And frankly, term limits should be extended at a bare minimum. The corrections budget is about $4 billion. And nearly 90% of that budget, of that $4 billion, goes to compensation and benefits. So when you hear folks say, well, we should let people out early, well, you can let everybody out, and still roughly 90% of that budget is still going to be committed because of negotiated contracts and state employees already in place. So what we need to do is get to the root of those labor costs. We're the 3rd highest state in the union in terms of per prisoner costs. We must absolutely deal with the compensation and benefits in the corrections budget. And did you ask a question about education? Okay. Can you repeat that?
What is your opinion on a rising cost of corrections in our state compared to our educational budget?
It's a shame. It's an absolute shame that it costs more. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And we heard Sheriff Joe from Maricopa County. I think Ben mentioned that. And we need to incorporate more of his tactics and techniques in making certain that the Kwame Kilpatricks of the world don't get to sit in an air-conditioned cell with cable television. Taxation, obviously, you all know that, whether it's the property tax, the personal property tax that some of you may pay, or the Michigan business tax. Those are massive impediments to progress to job providers in this state. As also regulation. And I think agriculture is going to see two main fronts or assaults on agriculture in the time to come. One, from the environmental movement, we will see continued further assaults through departments like the Department of Environmental Quality, as well as many extremists in the animal rights movement. They would love to give the bureaucracies of state and federal government the ability to come in and tell you how many calves you can raise on your farm, how many chickens you can have in your hen house. And one specific EPA issue that's coming forward, in fact there are two of them. One is the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency at the federal level, is working on classifying milk as a toxin, as well as methane from livestock, flagellants, would be an environmental hazard as well. Ridiculous, folks, ridiculous. It seems to me that the Michigan Department of Agriculture is the epitome of working with the industry that it regulates. There are a couple of other departments in state government that don't work well with the industries that they regulate. The Department of Environmental Quality / DNRE, I think is the new title. What I would like to see is the DEQ / DNR moved under the Department of Agriculture so that that good mentality of working with the industry that you regulate is spread down to the DEQ / DNRE, I think is the correct term for it. When it comes to zero cuts to the Department of Agriculture, that would be ideal. I think that agriculture needs to be a much higher priority than it has been in years past. It's ridiculous that we, when I was serving in the legislature, had to go to bat for MSU Extension, the 4-H program, year after year after year. The State Department of Agriculture budget, if I recall correctly, is about $50 million, if I'm not mistaken. There may be still a little room for some efficiencies there, but let's make agriculture a priority. You folks know that. The only changes we should be making to Michigan's Right to Farm Act are to strengthen it, to expand the definition of what's considered a farm to include farm markets, direct-to-consumer marketing, agritourism. Those are the activities that should also be protected under Michigan's Right to Farm Act. Can you repeat that again?
Sure. What ideas would you take to Lansing to help the ag industry?
I'll tell you, my principles, you know my background in agriculture. We raise beef cattle, and we have one heck of a little niche raising exotic animals. And that is one area of growth in agriculture, not necessarily exotic animals, but niche agriculture. And I was talking with some Christmas tree folks the other day, some captive cervidae or reindeer and deer folks the other day. It's that whole group of agricultural commodities is what makes Michigan so wonderful, because we are the second most diverse state when it comes to agricultural commodities. But I'll tell you, I'll stand up for agriculture. It is a priority. It is an absolute priority since it's the second largest industry in Michigan. And I thought I threw out some darn good suggestions when it came to getting the DEQ reined in. Let's put it under the Department of Agriculture so that the Department of, well, someone says throw it out, which probably is not a bad idea either. But let's put it under the Department of Agriculture so that those folks, those regulators, can have a mind for the industry that they regulate.